Start பண்ணுமா?
Yeah, hi. Introduce about yourself.
My name is Akio Shimaguraja. I'm from Connecticut in the United States, and I made a presentation on how, like, the history of the Ektara, like the origins, how it is today, and like how it's really transformed music in like India and across Asia.
Who's your music teacher?
My music teacher is Mr. Kiran Varshit.
What's your academy name?
My academy name is Atraya Musics.
Okay. So what's your presentation name?
So my presentation is it's right here. It says the history of the Ektara.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first thing about the Ektara, we'll start off with its origins. So the Ektara is a one-stringed instrument which is used mostly throughout Southern Asia in countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. So the actual meaning behind the word Ektara is in Hindi, ek means one, and then tara means string, and that fits the instrument as it's a one-stringed instrument. So it's not specifically just one instrument per se, but it's more of a group of instruments that are fully just one stringed. So it's there's not only one specific instrument that's called the Ektara, but more so a group. So this is in fact the oldest group of string instruments in the Indian subcontinent. So it came out before like two or three string instruments, which are indeed a variation of the Ektara. So at first, it was a pretty normal string instrument that was used by wandering bards and minstrels from India, which was around 600, 700 years ago. And as it gained popularity, there were different variations of it that came along. So minstrel is an entertainer, and like the word started off from Europe, but then in India there are also many people who are like entertained and like they'd use this instrument as this form of entertaining the crowd. And the wandering bard are like sort of people like nomads who don't really have a home. So they just wander around like their state, their country or whatever, and they just play this music while they're going along. So, and they're generally independent people who do live on their own, and they're self-taught, meaning like they're pretty independent. So the dimensions and the looks of the Ektara is it's a drone lute, meaning and a lute is a stringed instrument that includes a body and a neck. So as you can see in the picture, the bottom is like the bass, and the two sticks holding it up are the neck, and the top is like the tuning per se. So the drone is a harmonic aspect of the music. So like the same note, it allows the same note to be played throughout the piece to like bring some consistency into the piece, and it can be used with a variety of bases. Like for example, you can make an Ektara base from a bottle guard, a wood apple, a coconut, etc. And for this whole weight aspect, and if you use like an apple or coconut shell, it's around 1 kilogram, and it's one of the smaller sizes of the Ektara. And to be exact, there's three different types of Ektara, and that being the soprano, the tenor, and the bass. And they're each like designed for different purposes. As soprano and tenor and bass, for example, they're all different aspects of music, and they give you your piece a different dimension. And a basic dara can have two strings, which kind of contrary to the whole one string purpose behind it. So how to play an Ektara, what you do, you first have to hold the instrument upright as the guy in the picture is doing. You have to grip it right above the resonator, which is kind of like the middle between the neck where it can kind of bend. And since you can bend the resonator, it allows there to be a loud, clear sound with like a devoid musical echo to give like, and that echo kind of gives you like a different side to your piece, and it like sounds very beautiful. So the plucking string of Ektara with you pluck the string of the Ektara with the same hand that you're holding it up with. You use your index finger to pluck it. And it's common for people to play Ektara while dancing as well. As the entertainers back then, they dance and they play the Ektara to match like the way they're dancing. And if this is indeed the case, they hold it differently, and they hold it with the resonator area they hold it with the other hand, and they carry bells with the original hand, and they sound based on the beats the performer plays against the gourd. So if they're playing a specific beat on the gourd, they match it with the bells that they're also having. So pressing the two halves of the necks together on the ektara loosens the string, which allows you to lower the pitch. So then, as this might show you, if you loose the string, you get a lower pitch, while if you tighten it, you get a higher pitch. So instead of tuning, which is using like guitars and stuff, each slight flex of the neck results in a distinct sound, and there's no specific tuner which you can just simply rotate. So pressure is adjusted, as I said, based on simply ear training, and there's no markings like there is in a guitar, where you just have to be as you play it more and more, you can understand where each part is. So the ektar is primarily used in ball music, which is a music that originates from Bengal. So ball music is a group that blends music of different religions like Hinduism and Islamic to create a collaborated, unified way of music. However, there are many conspiracies about this group of music, and it's believed to just simply have modern sounds of instruments, and it's using traditional instruments in order to create these modern sounds. According to many music professors, it's destroying the true beauty of music. However, it's still primarily used in religious purposes as well, as it's used for kirtan chanting, a type of Hindu chanting, and it's also used by people who practice Sufism, which is a type of Islamic practice. And an Ektara is used, it's been using for religious purposes for thousands of years, as it's believed to have started back in the 4th century. And this thesis is based on the fact that there was a painting found in the Ajanta caves, which had a man playing an Ektara on it while a bunch of people were surrounding him, and it was sort of like a chanting, more or less. And this painting was believed to have been made in the 4th century based on scientists' estimations. So some famous people who use the Ektara, one of them is Sain Zahur. So Sain Zahur is a Sufi musician from Pakistan, and he's been nominated for many BBC World Music Awards. His primary instrument is the tumbi, which is basically a Ektara, and it's another name for it. However, the difference is this one's a three-string instrument, which is derived from it. And Zain Zahur's traveled the world, and he's showcased his abilities across several continents, as he's played in Norway, Belgium, Dubai, Malaysia, China, and India. So the purpose he plays it with is mainly for poetry and devotional love. And what's interesting about him is he never went to school, so he was really never taught like to read or write, but he's able to memorize song lyrics, and that really helped him out when he was performing. So a second person who plays the Ektara is a Parvati Bal, who is also a ball singer slash musician. And she was born in Bengal, and however, she moved to Thiruvananthapuram in 1998, and she's been based in Kerala for the last 25 years. So her background, she learned and mastered Ektara under a guru named Sanatan Das Bal, and after he gave her his teachings, in 2001, she fully went into ball music and traditional, and she sang while accompanied with instruments like the ektara and the duggi. And the duggi is a small kettle drum which is strapped to one's waist. So in Kerala, Parvati Bal runs a school called the Ektara Bal Sangeeta Kalari, and this is a school where she can really spread her knowledge to ball music to communities and kids. So she's helping the entire country by doing so. And this was recognized as she was given the Sangeet Natak Academy Award in 2019, which was just 4 years ago. Another famous Ektara user was Paban Das Bal, who's also a ball singer from India. And Paban Das Bal was born in West Bengal, and he's primarily a singer. And while he sings, he uses the ektara and the dubki as accompaniments. The dubki is basically a tambourine, but it's smaller and it fits more into the Carnatic style. And Paban Das Bal collaborates with famous musicians all around the world, and he in fact lived in Paris for most of his life. He worked with, for example, he worked with Sam Mills, who is a famous London-based guitarist, and together they created like a fusion between the two different styles of music, which was one of the first times that ever happened at the time, as this was around 25 years ago. So another name for or slash variation for the ektara is in Nepal it's called a golki. In Sindhi, which is a language used in Pakistan, it's called yaktaro. And then there's also names such as Aktara, Iktar, Ektar, Tuntuna, and these three instruments all fall under the Ektara category, including the that being the Ektar itself, the Tuntune, and the Gopi Chanta, which are all instruments that look the same, but they all have like very little minor differences in each of them. So yeah, this was my presentation on the Ektara and how it's journeyed throughout multiple centuries and how it's shaped music across the world today.
Yeah, good. So, yeah, it's a nice presentation. And can I ask you some questions from that?
Yes.